Hey, Rich,
Hey, Michael.
and welcome everybody to BitPunch Radio episode 064. Very special episode. 64 is a very special number to me. Quick, Rich, what is your favorite Nintendo 64 title with the word or with the number 64 in it?
Um, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
64.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a pretty good game. It doesn't quite fit the criteria, but yeah, I'll give it that. Hold on. Broadcast is on. I am peaking in Audacity, but I will have to fix that in post. Yeah, hey, we are BitPunch. We're going to be discussing all sorts of Star Wars shit, looks like, along with some of the new releases that have hit these past couple weeks. Uh you got any updates with books? I don't see a book update on here.
There's no books. I took a break from
Wow.
books,
Okay.
for the last week or so. I finished Mistborn 4, and kinda was like, let's take a break for a little bit."
Okay.
Um, but I'm gonna get back into something here probably before this week's over. So,
What do you want to start with here?
well, I finally was able to start playing games on my Steam Deck again because I uninstalled Vampire Survivors.
Right.
Great game, but keeps me from playing other games.
Mhm.
So I'm really into Star Wars right now. Um, and I have tried to play Jedi Fallen Order. I think this is my fourth time.
Oh, okay.
I've started it and I really don't like the gameplay of that game or the map design of it.
Okay.
Um, I think I've had to have talked about it on this show. Um, it is very like Xbox 360 or PS3, like Souls like
Mhm.
gameplay. The maps are very like Metroidvania, where you don't have the thing to go do this yet, and you open up your map and it's like a red door, and it's like,
Sure.
I'll have to come back here when I get the force push and push that door open. It's all kind of tedious. It looks really cool. The combat is, I think, just okay. But I'm really into it for the story
Sure.
because the character from that game, Cal Kestis, it's pretty well rumored that he's going to end up in the live action Star Wars TV shows here at some point. Um, Kind of a big rumor going around that he's going to be in the Ahsoka show, which is coming sometime soon.
Has he shown up anywhere else besides the game?
No,
So, but the game is canon. Like they have
correct.
okay.
Yeah.
Where do like what time period does this game take place?
So it takes place after Order 66. So it takes place after Episode 3
Okay.
and like in between Episode 4,
Oh, okay.
which is A New Hope, which is the
Which is like
original
a
trilogy.
sweet spot for like a shitload of content. you know?
Yeah, so that's where Rebels takes place there. Um a lot of like Mandalorian takes
Mhm.
place partially during that time. Although well, a lot of Mandalorian takes place after episode 6 because Luke is training um Jedi by then. But yeah, there's a lot of shit. Bad Batch is kind of during that time, I think.
Mhm.
Ahsoka is going to be during that time. It's a pretty rich time period there between 3 and 4. Um, so yeah, it takes place then. Um, and now there's a new game coming out called Jedi Survivor, which is a sequel to the Jedi Fallen Order, the one that I've tried to play 4 times now, and it looks cool as fuck, and I want to play it. So I put it on easy. And
Okay.
I decided I was like, I'm not here for the challenge. I want to get through the story. I want to know, what the story is and what the canon is and experience it. Um, before that new game comes out, I think in April or May. I don't have the release date right in front of me. I think it's April 28th, maybe. It's been delayed a couple times, but yeah. So I downloaded it on the Steam Deck. It runs great on the Steam Deck. No problems there so far. Uh, it's really nice having that like quick resume, like being able to just turn the Steam Deck off mid game, turn
Oh
it
my
right back on.
gosh.
Especially because that's a game that's an EA game. So if you launch that on a computer, it makes you sign into EA Play,
Mm,
and then you have to sign into that. And then that game has a really long loading screen in the beginning. Um, so it's really nice to just be able to pick that thing up off the kitchen table or the
yep.
kitchen counter and be like, "Yep, I have 5 minutes. Let's get a little bit
Let's do
farther in this
something.
fucking
Right.
game." Yep, yep, and it's just immediate. You just turn it on, and it's yep, right back there where you left off. Um, yeah, so that's the game that I've been playing. Um, I'm actually not sure what the like how long to beat is on that game. I'm probably 3-ish hours into it now. Um,
I'll guess
Jedi.
I'll guess 14. 14 hours.
It is 17 hours
Ooh.
to just mainline it, 22 for the middle, and 31 for completionist. So
Wow. Okay.
it's not a short game.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's like 4 or 5 planets you go to, and you just continuously go back to them and like retread
Mm,
old areas, and then get to the red door you couldn't get to before. Like, man, I just really didn't. I like that in some games. I just really hated it beginning of this game, and that's what I think that's what kept throwing me off of it. Um, but there's some good story there so far, so I'm excited to keep playing it and try to get it finished.
yeah.
Um,
I gave it a shot because it is on Game Pass. Um,
yes,
and yeah, I think I'm not as invested in the lore, and yeah, I did not click with the combat, so I kind of bounced right off of that thing. But I didn't
yeah,
give it a fair shake. I know, but because a lot of people really like that game. I mean, it sold well enough to make a sequel, and I mean, they made a video game character now that's canon, and people are excited to see Cal show up in actual like media outside of the game,
right. And it
which is cool.
it is it's cool because it's the same actor. So like the character in the game is art like what am I looking for? Um
His likeness is
his likeness is put into the
yeah.
game. And he's going to be in Jedi Survivor 2, same actor. He's one of the Monahan brothers. Um one of them was in one of them was in Lord of the Rings. Pippin. Um God,
Oh, okay.
why can't I
I think he
Jedi
was on the show Shameless,
actor? Let's see.
and I think he
Cameron Monahan. Monahan? I don't know how to pronounce that.
I think he was
Um,
in the show Shameless, and I think he played the Joker. He was the Joker in that Gotham show.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you've got his IMDb pulled up in front of
Yeah,
you,
I'm
but
I'm I'm working on it here.
let me
Yeah.
know if I'm correct there. I think he played the Joker, and that was probably the best thing to come out of that show was his performance of the Joker. That show
Uh,
was not good. It was bad. I'm wearing a Batman shirt, and that show was not good at all.
right, right. Let's
Um,
see. He was in the movie Click, The Giver, Gotham. He was in Gotham. Yeah,
Gotham. That's yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. But I think there's a bunch of Monahan brothers.
Mm.
I'm sure of it. He's one of those.
How
There's another one that's in a lot of games.
how
Uh,
cool is that career? You know, he gets to play the Joker, and now he gets to play a Star Wars character. Like, I hope he's a
fucking,
nerd at heart. You know,
fucking Jedi. Yeah,
yeah, he's
yeah,
a Jedi. That's cool.
yeah. Um. So yeah, there's rumors that like he's gonna end up that actor's gonna end up being in Ahsoka. Um. If that happens, that'll be pretty cool. So I'm super pumped for that Ahsoka series, especially now that I've finished Clone Wars and I'm into Rebels. Like that's my shit. I'm ready. I'm ready
You
for
know,
that.
I think we may have talked about this in the last episode, but it's really surprising me at like how down the well they're willing to go with their TV shows. Um, I mean, they're I mean, the fact that they're potentially pulling a video game character that maybe a couple million people played or know about, and it'll be a big reveal. I think it's cool that they're willing to like take those leaps and appeal to their deep their deep audience, but maybe not so much that would know about that, because they have to. I
Right.
mean, they're displaying it on the Disney landing page, so they're it's getting that in front of 100 million people or however many subscribers they have. How many are actually going to like look at Cal and be like, "Oh, that's shit, that's Cal." They have Cal and
Right.
Ahsoka. Like that's
Right.
got to be single percent, of their audience will know that. So I may be completely off here, but even Ahsoka, like if you didn't watch that cartoon from the early aughts, like you wouldn't know who Ahsoka is. So
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Um,
it's weird. So his last name is Monahan, but it's spelled the same, but he's not the brother with Mary. Just
mm,
happens to have the same last name. Um, Weird. Okay. Um, yeah, so I've been playing that. I've also been watching Rebels. I am pretty deep into Rebels at this point. Let's
all
see,
right.
I'm on season 3, episode 10.
Whoa, are they
Um,
24 episode seasons,
ooh,
or are they
let's
shorten
look at
that?
that here. I'm right here in Disney Plus. So let's just take a look here. 22 episodes in season 3, about halfway through, and then only 15 in 4. So I've only got,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't have that many left.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and that show continues to be real fucking good.
Oh, okay,
Um,
good.
it is very Firefly in a way because it kind
Mm,
of deals with a crew, and they got a ship, and they're kind of getting into, they get into shenanigans. They're part of the rebels, obviously. But it is very Firefly. It's like a little family, and each one's got their own personality. Um, but it does the thing where it's just like, oh, hey, look, there's Lando. Lando's in this episode.
okay.
Oh, nope, there's fucking Princess Leia just out of
Whoa,
nowhere.
whoa,
There she
whoa,
is.
Lando. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then it brings characters in from Clone Wars, like beloved characters from Clone, because this is after Clone Wars. Um, yeah, it's super good. It's got some super good shit. Um, the, the droid, their kind of droid that's part of the crew, is called Chopper.
Hmm.
He's like a little R2D2 type of droid. Man, he's fucking great. Like he doesn't talk. He only like beeps and boops like R2,
Sure.
but he's pretty fucking great because he's a dick. Like
Huh.
he's constantly fucking over like a couple members of the crew all the time, like just playing pranks on him and shit. Like it's hilarious.
Mm,
Chopper's pretty great. Um, yeah, that show continues to be good. And actually, I just got to the part where Grand Admiral Thrawn is introduced, who's a huge character in the like legacy Star Wars universe. I guess there's a
mhm.
bunch of Thrawn books. I think that's what they call that now, legacy or something. When Disney bought them, they changed all the like a bunch of the books to like that's the legacy canon. It's not the real canon.
Right.
Um, but he's in this show quite a bit here now in season 3. So he's a pretty
S-
cool and
s-
bit like huge character.
So does like the High Republic stuff, does it fall under that legacy canon, or is that legit?
No, it's legit. Yeah,
Okay.
that's legit. Um, Man, that seems to have like fizzled out. I haven't kept up with those books or those comics too
Hmm.
much. I know they've released a couple more books, and I did like that first book they released. That's part of that High Republic. Um,
I was at a comic shop recently and seen a High Republic comic. I didn't pay attention to like when it was released, but at least it's still on shelves.
right,
So,
right. Yeah, so Rebels continues to be really good. Um, Again, there's just something about that like 22-minute runtime. Like
mm,
get in, get out,
yep.
give me a story. And it does do the Clone Wars thing where there's like a part 1, part 2, part 3, where certain storylines will carry across 3 or 4 episodes.
Mm.
Um, yeah, man, it's real good. It's real good. Yeah, and that's all I've been up to. I've
Oh my
been
gosh.
really freaking busy. I've been riding my bike a lot over the past, well, like 12 weeks. So I'm getting ready for the riding season here,
Mhm.
as it's going to come up here in a couple months. So that's why I've watched so much Rebels, because when I'm on my bike trainer, I'm watching Rebels. So
You have a crew you ride with, or
yeah, I've got a couple of people that I'll ride with. I would say about 50% of the time. Yeah. Other than that, I'm by myself. Yeah.
are you like competing, or are you doing like
Yeah.
races, or okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do it's a there's a gravel race series in Michigan,
Mm,
um, where they have like, I can't remember how many events. It's like 10 events over the summer and fall. Um, and it's like a whole series. So, if I do well enough in 5 of those events, they like add up all your scores from the 5 races that you did, and then you get like a end of the season like score.
mm.
So it's like a whole season, if you will. That's part of that series. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I just
Yep.
continue to walk and read my manga, and yeah.
Yeah.
Uh I'm not invested in it like you are, but
That's You know me well enough to know that I have an addictive personality.
yeah.
So when I get my brain onto something, I have to. There's a Ron Swanson quote. You can't do things half-ass. You have to do things whole-ass.
Mhm.
I'm a whole-ass kind of guy. So when I do something, I do it whole ass. So
Gotcha.
yeah, yes,
All right, what do we I don't know where to start. I've been
I
up.
do.
All right.
Um, I have been. My TikTok and Instagram is fucking a flutter with nothing but wizards
Okay.
and people, uh, really attached to one of the teachers that's like a redhead.
Yeah.
Must be like super hot, and like
Uh
all the 30 and 40-year-old dudes that read Harry Potter in junior high and high school are really into this teacher at this school.
yeah, I think
Um,
she is Professor Garlic.
oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's a perfect name.
I don't I so I'm personally not playing Hogwarts Legacy. Um
Oh no, okay.
we
Okay.
bought it, and it's on the downstairs Series S. So my daughter is actually playing it. And we're only about maybe 3 hours into it. So it's going to be like it's going to take a long time for us to get through it. I have not came across Professor Garlic. I have also been introduced to Professor Garlic through Reddit.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of Rule 34 stuff out there now of Professor Garlic. As you know, what happened within minutes of a
Yes.
cute video game character being introduced. Don't know this character. She is in uh what do you call it? She's with plants. She's a
Okay.
I don't know what the that
Herbologist or
thank
something.
you. Yes.
Yeah, herbology.
Um so that game is it seems legit, man. It's weird. It's made by Avalanche, which
Yep.
I made the huge mistake of thinking that was Avalanche Studios, which is Just Cause, and they did Mad Max, but it's not that them. This
Oh, wait,
company,
really?
it no, this company
Okay.
made like some, I think that like a Disney game. They did Toy Story. So this
Oh,
is like a
okay.
hugely ambitious game for them, and they kind of nailed it, really. The castle is it's really what you expect, like walking around Hogwarts. Everything is alive. um it seems legit, seems really good.
Yeah, the videos that I've seen, it looks like they nailed the feel and, like, the,
Yeah.
overall tone of that castle, like, from the
Yes.
books, and, like, probably more in line with, like, the movies than the books, probably, in some cases.
Yeah, and there's a really nice fluidity to the combat where you can, shoot people up in the air and then you're tossing like a weak spell that's like a quick, like pat 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 pat. But again, I have not touched the controller. I've just watched her play it. Um there's a lot coming out in February and March. There's a game coming out in early March that I want to play, but then I'll probably get into Hogwarts. It looks fun. Um I did buy it on Xbox. I would love to have it on the Steam Deck. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of people saying that they can get 40 frames out of it on a Steam Deck, and it's just like, that would be a nice one to have, one of those. It's a checklist game, so there's like a ton of stuff you can do. The map is huge. So yes, like Hogwarts itself is very um varied with it's huge, like vertical and out.
Yeah.
You can go to like each class type, so you can go into Slytherin's area, you can go into, I think we're playing as a
Okay.
Ravenclaw.
Each
um
house. Yeah.
yeah, each house, yeah, thank you. So and I mean, there's so much attention to detail. I watched a TikTok where they talk about Harry snuck into like this almost like bathhouse, and the person was
Yes.
reading, have you seen this one? This
I
person
have
was
seen this
reading the
one.
chapter and was walking around, and it was just like even describing the painting on the wall of like this woman with long hair like looking up at
The
the sky, or
mermaid.
yeah, the
Yeah.
mermaid. Like they did all of that, and the actual like um not the pool. It's a small pool. It has a
Yeah.
hundred different gold like fountains in it, and I mean, it has all those details. So the amount of time invested to like building this out, I can't imagine like the scale that's in this game. And it's a little Witcher game, really. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're getting missions from people. There's a big story. It seems like the how long to beat is around 30 something hours, but you can double it if you get into like the 100 side quests. Um yeah, it seems good. I don't know if it's doing much different than, a lot of the other games that you can play. I'm not a big Potterhead, but I think if you are, like, that game is perfect for you. And there's easy mode, there's a story mode. We are playing it on easy. It does look pretty easy. Um, but yeah, it
Do
looks like,
you do you get to build your own wizard or like create your
yes,
own witch or anything?
yeah. So my daughter, she built herself, um, and she went with Ravenclaw, because it had like, it said you get around with your wits, and I love like putting
Mm,
like your what's the word I'm thinking of, Rich,
boy.
your stats in like wit,
Yep.
and
Yep.
in wit. I want my wit high. If I get in a conversation, I want to be able to like
Intelligence. Yeah.
skill check myself out of it. Now
Yeah.
this game doesn't do that. You're not dropping like stats. It's really, I think you are upgrading like your health, and you might get attachments to your wand. But even like decorating your wand, like there's so many things that you can do with it. And my daughter's character looks like her, and she
Does
thinks it's,
your does your character talk?
yes, you do pick. There's
Okay.
a couple different voices. I think it's
Okay.
like a male or a female voice essentially. Um, you do play a fifth year student, which I do like that about
Oh,
it. So you're not
okay.
starting from like ground zero. Like you already know some
Right.
spells. You're attending classes. There's a whole like uh oh my gosh, from Sonic Adventure 2, there's like a whole Chow garden to it where you are
Oh,
raising like these Harry Potter creatures.
okay.
We're not there yet. This is just stuff that I've seen or heard like on different podcasts, but the amount of content that's in it is pretty staggering. Um
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I'm I'm looking forward to getting into that one.
I mean, it's doing well. It's been at the top of the Steam charts
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I also started Atomic Hearts. This is a game that has been, gosh, it's been in the works for like 5 years, I think, since they've announced this thing. It's been pushed so many times. Um, it is a BioShock like
Mhm.
style game. Hit Game Pass. We're recording this or Wednesday, so it hit Game Pass yesterday. As soon as it went live, uh, it was like 11 o'clock, and I was like, or it's lunch, and I was like, I'm gonna just boot this game up. I want to see what it's like. Um, so I booted up, and like you start. So it's a first person shooter, BioShock. Like essentially, it's a really weird world. It's in like a Soviet Russia. And there's like these crazy robots and stuff, and it's a beautiful, beautiful game. And when I say BioShock, don't think like OG BioShock. Like it's more like BioShock Infinite, to a point to where,
Okay.
um, this is spoilers for like the first 90 minutes of the game, because that's really all that I can talk about. Um, but it's like there's pods of worlds that you are exploring. It does seem like it's in the sky, kind of like how BioShock Infinite was, and you could like zip line across. I think you're kind of
Yep.
doing something like that, but they're a lot bigger. um Now, this game is really weird. The character, he seems like a idiot. He's kind of annoying. He cusses like way too much. I have no problem with cussing, but if it's like an excessive amount, it kind of like it's a little. It's kind of like, oh, I wish he would like stop talking like that. Um, and I feel like that they are trying to be weird to be weird. And what I
Mm.
mean by that is like they hit you over and over with just like, okay, look at this world that we've crafted. Like, okay, that looks good. Um, but then there's like like you're just going along your day, and then you're in an explosion, and then you're in an elevator, and the elevator like crashes, and like your guy is just constantly like getting fucked up for whatever reason. So then you're like, okay, so then it turns into like a Half Life where you are, or no, I guess we'll still stay with Bioshock, because you don't have a wrench, you have an axe. So that's the only weapon I have right now.
Okay.
And I go into this room, and they start teaching you how to craft. It's like, okay, but the thing the crafting is this refrigerator looking robot that wants to have sex with you.
Okay.
So this robot like grabs you and is like slamming you around this room, and is like sexually harassing you.
Mm. Okay.
And your guy is just kind of like, this is weird. I don't like, do I even want to craft? And then you just like it just kind of is over. It lasts like 2 minutes, and then it just stops, and you walk up to the refrigerator, and you're like, okay, now I'm gonna craft. It's just like, why did you do that? Like, it's tonally all over the place. Again, at least the first 90 minutes or so, that might chill out, that might be a one and done thing. But it was really jarring.
Mm.
um
Okay.
but I've I I've wanted to play this game for a long time. It's made by this developer called Mundfish, and it's their first game. It looks hugely ambitious, like Hogwarts Legacy ambitious. And it feels really good. I don't know if I really care for the character that you're playing as, but um I I will be jumping back and forth between Like a Dragon, Ishin, and Atomic Hearts for probably a while, because both these games are lengthy. I think Atomic Hearts is probably sub 20 hours, and Like a Dragon is going to be probably over that. So,
Yeah.
seems pretty good. It's getting some good reviews as well. So, um, the last game I have on here is Like a Dragon Ishin. A game that originally came out in 2014. Um, I bought the deluxe edition so I could play it
Uh,
Friday at noon. Grabbed my Steam Deck. It was installed. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Before I go back to, or before I hit into that, one thing that was weird about Atomic Hearts is I had the game installed, and there's a spot where you're supposed to get in this car, and this robot comes down, attaches to the car. You think you're going to drive this car, but this robot comes down and then flies the car away.
uh,
And it's like your introduction of like, okay, look how big this world is. I
right.
went to jump in the car and it said uh, this will be unlocked in the full game, and it wouldn't let me do it.
Weird.
So I was just like, this is the Game Pass game. So I just exited out of it, and I had like it showed on Game Pass is weird, right? Like the app itself is very strange. It showed I had a
Yeah.
75 gig update.
Hmm.
So I ran the update as I was working, and when I played it that night, it was fine. But I just thought that that was weird. Of like, why would this car tell me that? Like, why
Weird.
would they even put that
Yeah.
in there? Like, I had like a weird dev mode or something installed on my computer because it. Yeah.
Huh.
But anyway, okay, so Like a Dragon Ishin, um, is a Yakuza game that came out in 2014. It's a spinoff. Um, it's really strange because it's like a greatest hits of all the characters, but it's set like 1,000 years before anything Yakuza. So like you're
Oh, okay.
playing like Kiryu's likeness, but you're playing like a samurai from like a long, long time ago, right? But it is one of those games. You have the different fighting styles that you can cycle through. You're doing all the weird side quests that for some reason, I don't get invested in a lot of video game side quests, but these are just so weird. I tend to gravitate towards them. Um, it's I love it. Playing on the Steam Deck, it runs great on there. Um, and it is just one of those games that I have 20 minutes, I'm grabbing it, hit the button, within 10 seconds, I'm in the world playing it. Um, I do have a few knocks with this game. I don't like the fast travel. They've never done fast travel really well. They normally use taxis. This
Mm,
this world map I'm not really used to. Um and there's only like 3 points that you can fast travel to, so it's like they're just spread out a little too far. It feels like, it takes 3 to 4 minutes to get to a fast travel point. um and in an open world game where you're kind of wanting to bounce around quite a bit, that's a little frustrating. I have upgraded it to a point to where it added on another location. So hopefully it'll just keep adding locations as I use it more and more. But everything is like on like a spectrum of like, all right, I have talked to this person. Now if I talk to them like 5 more times, I'll level up and I'll get more things that I can
mm.
equip and make better. It's just there's so many like roulette things happening of like everything you do in this game, even talking to these freaking dogs on the street, you're like building reputation with everything that you interact with, and it's just like everything is just going up. It's great. I feel like a samurai. The combat is really good. It's not Hi-Fi Rush feeling good, but I
Yeah.
try to remember, hey, this is a 9-year-old game at this point, so um but that is all the games I've been playing. I've not touched Vampire Survivors. I'm not playing Pocket Jockey anymore. Um, yeah, it's gonna be Hogwarts, Like a Dragon, Atomic Hearts, and if I skip ahead a little bit, some Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is the Team Ninja Elden Ring style game that's coming out pretty soon. Um, for books, I did finish Mistborn 5.
Okay.
I think I messaged you in our little Discord chat that I thought that that book was weak in terms of like a Brandon Sanderson book, but the ending was just, man, man, that ending, it was really good. Um, I have the sixth book waiting. Um, so yeah, I'll jump into that as soon as I can. Um, but yeah, that was definitely uh a a drag kind of in a way, which was a little upsetting. I thought Mistborn 4's like action scenes were fun, and this one only had like a couple, and they felt kind of like almost like an afterthought. They didn't really do a ton of new. He didn't really have like many new ideas. Um, Now the story itself is interesting, but I just thought like in terms of like, hey, out of all of these Mistborn and Brandon Sanderson books, it was one of the weaker ones. But still really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Didn't slow me down not wanting to read 6 and 7 anymore or any less. So I'm still reading Chainsaw Man, still reading Berserk. I finished I think I'm on book 5 of Chainsaw Man and book 4 now of Berserk. Um it's probably the one of the darkest books I've ever read is that Berserk series. It's pretty wild. And then after I finished Mistborn 5, a book that my wife recommended to me is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which one Goodreads book of last year. It is like a friendship, I believe, like maybe love story, but it's about video game developers. And
Oh, okay.
it I mean, they name drop a lot of developers. She like one of the main characters, her name's Sadie. She actually interned at Cellar Door, which is
Mm.
like a deep cut. I was surprised that they said Cellar Door. That's the developers of um gosh, Rogue Legacy.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, wow, I mean, they seem like they whoever wrote this knows a lot about video games, or maybe has a friend that knows a lot about video games. They name drop Kotaku a couple times. Um, but it's cool. Like they're building up a development studio, and it seems like a really well written book. I'm pretty invested in it. Um, Now speaking of that, did you see that? Did you hear about that Double Fine documentary that dropped?
No.
Oh
No, no,
my
no.
gosh. So Double Fine, the creators of like Psychonauts and a whole host
Yep.
of video games owned by Microsoft now, dropped a documentary about the creation of Psychonauts 2. So they partnered up with a company for Broken Age. It was like a backer that was a big Kickstarter, and it was a
Yep.
backer goal of like, hey, we're going to document our development of Broken Age. So they did this with Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 took how long to make? 7 years, maybe.
Mm. Mhm.
They dropped like a 24-hour documentary on YouTube for free, and you can go
Ooh.
watch it. And it is, I mean, you see design documents from Psychonauts 1. You see, like you work in an office, you see people resigning, you see tension, you see whiteboards with nothing but sticky notes of like, we are figuring out the story. What are we trying to tell of this story of like Psychonauts 2?
Mhm.
And I watched a little bit of the first episode, but it's definitely something that I want to invest the time into. The who's the main guy at Double Fine?
Uh, Tim Schafer.
Yeah, Tim Schafer. He's a funny guy, and
Yeah.
Brad Muir, who's on Giant Bomb content quite a bit. He's like on one of the thumbnails of episode like 2 or 3. So it's like I want to see that, and the fact that they just uploaded all of that for free, and I think they were an independent studio when they started
Mhm.
filming this, and now they're owned by Microsoft, and it really surprised me of like they talk about, oh, now we're bought by Microsoft, so we don't have to worry about money anymore. But there was a lot of like,
Right.
how are we going to pay for this? Like conversations, and it's all raw, and you get to see. I just think that seems really cool and would be fun to watch. But anyway, gosh, what else? I went and seen Quantumania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the new Ant-Man movie, and
World's sexiest man.
yeah, right. Yeah. Which there's a well, I won't get into it, but that movie was just okay. It was
Uh-oh.
fine. Um they're just not tearing up the charts lately. And I've seen a lot of people or a lot of like takes on TikTok of like different reasons as to like why Marvel might be like not they're not struggling, because this movie will make $1 billion. Um but I think one of the things is like, okay, before I get into that, the my takeaway from this movie is I do like King the Conqueror. Modoc was ridiculous. Um and but the story itself was like kind of annoying. Like my wife and I, we went and seen it by ourselves, and like we were getting frustrated like audibly, um because they do the thing of like super fucked up shit is happening. One person knows about it. Hey, one person, can you tell us about it? We don't have time to talk about it, but we're going to walk for hours and hours, but I can't tell you uh like about Kang or how I'm connected to Kang or whatever. It was just, I don't know, it was just kind of annoying. Um but overall I thought it was fine. I haven't like really liked one of these movies in a really long time, and I was hoping like this one would be a little better, but it was just okay. Um but one of the things that people are saying that could be like not a good thing for Marvel is the fact that the stakes aren't there anymore, because now that they're playing with like the multiverse, they can kill characters but then bring them right back. And so like, if you're watching like Age of Ultron or something and you see a character die, they're dead. Like there's no the emotion is high because you can't bring that person back. They're dead. But now they're like playing with timelines where there's thousands of, this is not a spoiler, I guess, because they're playing with timelines, but there's thousands of Kangs out there. But who gives a shit if they kill this Kang? They can just bring in another Kang. Um, and it just, I don't know. I'm really curious where they're gonna take this, because um yeah, there's just kind of infinite possibilities, but how are they gonna keep it interesting? What's your interest level of Marvel now? For some reason I cannot hear you. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, there you are. All right.
Okay. I had to stop my recording.
No.
I had to.
Oh man.
It was the weirdest thing. Everything was set up and it wasn't picking up my recording on my local, not in Discord. Everything was set, like all the broadcast stuff was set. I had to kill everything and open everything back up.
I can pull the audio from Twitch.
Okay. Okay.
Because you sound pretty good on my end. So I've had to do that in the past.
Okay. All right. I'll just leave mine dead.
Okay. All right. So I think what I was so I was going over Ant-Man. I talked about some of the stuff. Like your interest level in Marvel couldn't be further from history. Like you don't.
No, I mean I like those movies, but I'm not watching every one of them. You need to turn your
Right.
camera back on too, so I can see you or share your screen again. Yeah,
Oh, okay. There we go.
yeah. I'm just not. I'm like I watched Endgame. I watched the Avengers, whatever that trilogy or quadrilogy or whatever the hell that all was.
Right, yeah.
I liked the Winter Soldier. I liked, um, boy, Hawkeye. I liked Hawkeye quite a
Yeah,
bit.
okay.
Um, I'm just not as into it as everybody else, but it seems like maybe everybody else isn't into it as they were
Yeah.
way. Um, yeah,
I mean, they still make $1 billion, but definitely there's fatigue that's starting to happen there. So, hey, that's really all I got. Um I've got is there any news that has happened lately that has been interesting? I've seen that they're going to be dropping a new Mario movie trailer, but it doesn't come out till like March 9th. Seemed really early
right.
for them to make an announcement of a trailer that doesn't come out until March 9th. Like 3 weeks away or something, or 2 weeks away at this point. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
Thought that was kind of strange.
yeah,
Um
that does seem weird.
Hey,
Yeah.
you think you'll give Atomic Hearts a shot? It's on Game Pass.
I might. I was looking at another game called Wild Hearts that looks like
Monster
maybe a
Hunter.
Monster Hunter type
Hmm.
of thing. Um, that that looks kind of interesting. It's getting some mixed reviews on Steam. I think it's all performance stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know. I might. I'm. I've got some games that are coming up that I'm pretty pumped for. So,
Yeah, let's
uh,
talk about them.
yeah,
Like
let's talk
Kirby,
about 'em.
right?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Uh, no.
Oh,
Destiny
it's
Lightfall.
you mean Octopath Traveler 2?
Uh, nope.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nope. Destiny Lightfall, Destiny 2 Lightfall, that expansion comes out the 28th of February, so it's just in a few days. Really pumped to get back into Destiny. Uh Kerbal Space Program 2 comes out soon, although I've heard some people talk about that game that might come in hot and
Okay.
maybe not with all the content that was maybe promised or thought to be in it at the time of launch.
Right.
Um, so I might do a little wait and see on that. Um,
It does well, what I pulled from Game Informer, I think, is that it will be early access.
right. Yeah. Um, so yeah, but definitely Destiny 2. Uh, gonna play a shit ton of that. Gonna keep playing Jedi Fallen Order. Um, I feel like there was another game that I had that I was looking forward to.
The Dead Cells
Uh,
Return to Castlevania comes out before we record again as well.
yes,
March 6th.
I will definitely play that. Um, yeah, and then that stuff will probably carry me over into April, May, through
Yeah.
March, and then we got Jedi Survivor, Redfall, Minecraft Legends comes out s- sometime in April, I think.
Mhm.
That could be something I could play. Um, yeah, we're getting into the time of the video games. That Sons of the Forest game comes out
That's soon, right?
tomorrow.
Oh,
Tomorrow,
tomorrow.
I
Okay.
think. Um,
I don't know anything about that. Is that a
It's the sequel to the game called The Forest.
okay?
Um, it's a crafting
Right.
game.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's got like zombies and stuff in it. Got a pretty strong following, and this one looks pretty cool.
Did you say Valheim is coming to Game Pass?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah,
That
I think
looks
that's kind of cool.
pretty
That's a cool
awesome.
little grab for them. I'm happy for that studio.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm surprised that Nintendo keeps pumping out stuff that I'm like, I kind of want to play that. Um, I kind of want to check out that Fire Emblem game. I've never really been
Mm.
into Fire Emblem at all, but
You gonna play that Metroid Prime remaster, remake,
you
re
know,
re?
I beat that game on the GameCube, and I don't know. I I
Mm,
I don't know if I want to revisit it. I think my son would really like it though. Um so it might be one, and it's got like an easy mode where I don't
okay.
remember if the original one had like easy or whatever, but that might be one that, you know, Max, my son Max might like. But like Octopath Traveler 2, like I guess, the first one had a lot of issues, but I think that they're, apparently have solved for a lot of those. But they just keep pumping out stuff, and it's stuff that I'm interested in that takes time. Like Fire Emblem and
Yeah.
Octopath right there's probably 80 hours of video games. So, um that freaking Symphony of War game you turned me onto, man. Now I'm all like, and then
Yeah.
Marvel Midnight Sun is like 40 something percent off right now on Steam, and I'm just like, I love X or not. I didn't play XCOM. I played Gears Tactics. I freaking loved that game,
Yeah.
and if and I love card games too. So it's just like a tactics game with cards. Like, dude, sign me up with Marvel characters. Shit, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds fun, and it runs on Steam Deck. Oh my gosh, all the stars aligned. That sounds great. Um, there's a lot coming out. I will say March is a little light, so it'll be nice to like invest Hogwarts in March or something, if I'm done with like a dragon by then, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a heavy year. Um and like book wise, as I'm continuing to read Berserk and get through this, Brandon Sanderson, I'm into this John Gwynn series too, so I want to like get through those. I don't know what else is coming out book wise this year that I'm invested in. John Scalzi's new book will come out towards the end of the year. And we're getting the secret books, but besides those, I don't know if like the next John Gwynn book, if that comes out this year or not. But I don't
I
know
don't
if
think it's been announced. Yeah, it
yeah,
hasn't been announced yet.
I don't know if there's a ton that I know of that I'm like, I'm gonna read this. But
Right.
I'm also not in the scene that much. I'm reading a lot of stuff right now that has came out. I'm not like, we list upcoming video games here. I'm like, I don't know
Right.
what
Right.
upcoming books are outside of the Kickstarter books that we backed. So,
Right. Right.
um, yeah, a lot of stuff though. We'll have to talk about Lightfall on the next episode. I'm curious how that will be compared to last year's
The
with
Witch
Queen.
Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Witch Queen. So that's all I got. Anything else you wanna talk about tonight?
No, man. That's all I got.
All right. Let's switch it over here and say thank you all so much for listening, and sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. If you want to check out any of our past shows, you can go to bitpunch.tech and you can send us an email at emails@bitpunch.tech. You can follow us on Twitch and Twitter at bitpunch. You can check out our YouTube channel for our archive streams at /user/bitpunch, and you can check out our newsletter at bitpunch.substack.com. All of these links can be found on our website at bitpunch.tech. That is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
We will be back in a couple weeks. Have a good night.